Welcome to a New York Times Hard Sudoku. Sudoku friends, today is January 11 and I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing the sun for the first time in about 3 weeks. So I thought I would start the day by looking at a fresh puzzle. There doesn't appear to be a lot of singles to be found here, frankly. Let's see, one of these up here will have to be an 8 because of the 8 here and here, right? And one of these two must be a 4 because of these two 4s. One of these two must be a 1 because the 1 here and the 1 here. And one of these two must be a 6 because of these two 6s. I'm just mentioning this without solving anything because it's my way of familiarizing myself with that fresh grid. The two 6s here also form a pattern of two candidates in 6 here. I know this is where people would just start using pencil marks. That would be a Snyder notation here for 6s. There would be one here for 6s. There would be, oh, no, this is not a Snyder notation for 7 because we have a 7 here, here, and here. And that makes this a 7. We found the first digit. Nice. But that's not enough. We need to find more. One of these two will have to be a 6 because of the 6 here and here. The 4 here blocks these cells and this 4 blocks these cells. So one of these will be a 4 and therefore one of these will be a 4. That's still not very helpful. Is this actually going to be a hard New York Times puzzle for a change? I hope so, because it would be fun to try to crack it. An 8. I think the 8 here blocks these 3 cells and the 8 here blocks these 2 cells. That means that one of these 2 cells must be an 8. So a ghost 8 here and an 8 here puts an 8 in one of these cells in row 4. But it can't go here because of this 8. So we found an 8. And now this 8 and this 8 block these 4 cells. The 8 here blocks these cells as well. Therefore, an 8 in the bottom row must go here. And this 8 and this 8 and this 8 now force an 8 to go here. So an 8 will have to go in one of these 2 cells. Is that not right? And I believe the other cell must be a 6 because the 6 here and the 6 here block these 3 cells. Therefore, one of these 2 cells must be a 6. Remember that rows 4 and 5 could be a 6. Now, this 6 blocks these 2 cells. Therefore, a 6 must go in row 4 and 5 as well in this file of 3 boxes. So, in order to place a 6 at all in row 6, and there's a 6 up here, mind you, it must go here or here, along with an 8. So these 2 cells now have to be a 6-8 pair. And since this cell now is blocked and this cell is blocked, and we have a 9 pointing over here, one of these 2 cells here must be a 9, and in combination with the 9 here and the 9 here, we now know that one of these 2 cells will have to be a 9 as well. And I think I can do something with the aforementioned 9, because this 9 blocks these 2 cells, this 9 blocks these 2 cells, so this cell or this cell must be a 9, and therefore this cell cannot be a 9, so we can enter the 9 here, like so. Let's see. This puzzle indeed turns out to be more difficult than we are used to with the New York Times. So let's say, if nothing else works, let's just start counting, I see 5 givens in this column, and that means we only have to find 4 more digits. And these cells here look pretty restricted as it is. We need to find a 2, 3, 4, and a 5 to complete this column. And there's a 2, 5, and a 4 here that can see the cell. Yeah, this is a 3. Nice. So now we have a 4, 3 here, and we have a 3, 4 here, blocking these cells here. So we know that these cells must be a 4 and a 3. And that might prove helpful because these cells now have to be a 4 and a 3 as well. 4 and a 3 goes here, 4 and a 3 here. These now have to be a 4 and a 3. And because this cell can't be a 3 either, look at the 3 here, I now know that one of these 2 cells must be a 3. So these 2 cells and the one here must be a 1, 2, and a 5. And this cell up here must be an 8, because we have an 8 blocking these cells, and we have an 8 blocking these cells, and we know that these 2 cells must be a 3 and a 4 combination, so this must be an 8. And as we recall, we had a 6-8 pair going on here, didn't we? So this is now an 8, and this is a 6. The 6 here and the 6 here, plus these 2 6s, forces a 6 to go here. And that makes this a 9, because we have a 9 here in this column, we have a 9 in this column. We need a 9 for one of these 2 cells, and there's a 9 in this row. So this is a 9. And then 9 here and here and here now puts a 9 in this cell. And having found this 9 now, we took a cell away from a possible 4. We have a 4 here and here blocking these 2 cells and this cell here, so this is a 4. And now this cell must be a 4. And why? Because this cell can't be a 4 due to the newly found 4 here. This 4 blocks this cell from being a 4. And we need a 4 for the column, don't we? So this is a 4. And that resolves the 3 and the 4 we had here. That's nice. Yeah. Yeah, this is a much nicer puzzle than we are used to. Now I'm focusing on these 2 cells here. They must be a 2 and a 9. And there's a 9 here, of course, so this is a 2 and this is a 9. Now, the 2 here, the 2 here and the 2 here force a 2 to go in one of these 2 cells. So we need to find a 2 for the 4th row. And it needs to go here, here, or here. So what? Doesn't really help me, does it? Well, I'm sure I'll figure it out somehow. There seems to be a lot of 2 and a 5 and 1, 2, and a 5 combinations going on in this grid. And while I'm talking to myself, I might as well plug in a 9 here, because the 9 here blocks this cell. The 9 here blocks this, so this has got to be a 9. And now this 9 and this 9 and this 9 puts a 9 in this cell, like so. These 2 now have to be a 1 and a 7. Yes, 1 and a 7. A 7 can't go here because of this 7. A 7 can't go here because of this 7. Therefore, this must be a 7, and that makes this a 1. And that makes this a 1. And now we have a 2-5 pair here. Nice. That makes this a 6-7 pair. And we have a 7 in the column, so this must be a 6 and this must be a 7. I seem to have broken through the wall here for this puzzle. It has a better flow now. This last cell must be a 2. I'm still thinking about this row here. 1, 2, 3, and 6. 3 and 2 here. That's a 1, 6. No, it will have to wait. So let's instead look at the center column, 1, 2, and a 5. We know this is a 2 or a 5. We don't know anything about this, and we know that this is a 1 or a 5 because there's a 2 in the row. So what about these 3 up here? A 1, 3, and a 5? No. I guess I'll have to actually think about this puzzle. Or not. A 2, 5, and a 7 still to be found for these 3 cells. There's a 2 and a 7 here in the row, so this of course must be a 5. I wonder why I didn't spot that earlier. And this is now a 2 and a 7, making this a 1, 4, and a 3. We know that these have to be a 1, a 3, and a 4, right? Because we found out that about 10 minutes ago. So this must be a 1, making this a 1 here or here. So let's make use of the cheap unique rectangle trick. This is a 2, 5, this is a 2, 5, this is a 2, 5, therefore this cannot be a 2, 5 because we would have a deadly pattern or we would have a unique rectangle issue. That would make this puzzle invalid. Therefore this cannot be a 2 or a 5. Then what could it be? Because we still need a 1, 2, and a 5 for these 3 cells, so it must be a 1. I know this is a cheap trick, but if it helps solve the puzzle, and if it's legal, I don't care. The 1 here blocks these 2 cells, the 1 here blocks these 2 cells, and this now must be a 1, making this a 1 as well. And now this up here is a 1. This is now a 2, 5, and a 2, 5, and this is a 2, 5, except there's a 5 in the column, making this a 2, this a 5, and this a 2, this a 2, this a 5. That's nice. These 2 cells have to be a 6, which goes here, and a 4, which must go here, making this cell over here a 5. Now these cells up here have to be a 3 and a 5, and I still can't solve those. So let me instead look at this column here. It's got a 3, 5, and a 2. There's a 5 here, 3, 2. Why is this so difficult? Maybe I'm just so ecstatic that the sun is out after 3 weeks. I can't wait to take my camera out for a photo walk around my neighborhood. Well, while I'm dreaming about taking photos, I can fill in a 3 here. These 2 now have to be a 2 and a 6. There's a 6 in the column, making this a 2, and this a 6, and this a 2 here. And this now must be a 3, and that makes this a 3. And up here we have the 5 finally, and the 5 here. The 5 here and here and here puts a 5 in this cell. This last digit is a 4, and that of course makes this a 4 and this a 3. Now this must be a 3. This last digit is going to be a 7, making this a 7 and this a 2. Man, that was kind of hard today. I wonder if someone else found it a little difficult. But I'm very happy that the New York Times finally served up kind of a challenge, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. And thank you for watching, and I hope that you will come back for more soon. Goodbye for now.